Have you ever made a desperate choice only to realize later that it will change your life forever? Would you take something that wasn't yours just to ease your pain? Today, I will tell you the story of a queen, a barren queen, who in her sorrow and longing for a child made a decision so drastic, so irreversible, that she never considered the consequences. But what if I told you that the baby she took wasn't just any ordinary child? What if the child was something far more mysterious? Let's find out. Welcome to Juliet's Stories. Today's story is titled, "This Queen Took the Baby from the River, Not Knowing She Was a Mermaid." Queen Zaria was known for her beauty, wisdom, and grace. However, there was one thing that overshadowed her reign. She had no child. For years, she had tried everything: prayers, sacrifices, and even seeking out powerful seers from distant lands, yet her womb remained silent. The people of Lirona whispered behind her back, "Is she truly a queen, or just a barren woman dressed in royal robes?" A crown actually means nothing without an heir. Her husband, King Darion, loved her dearly, but even his patience was running out. He needed an heir, someone to continue his legacy. So one evening, after yet another failed remedy, he spoke with a heavy heart. "Zaria, my queen," he said, his voice filled with sorrow. "I love you, but our people are restless. I cannot ignore their whispers forever." That night, the queen wept. She wept herself to sleep. In her dreams, a strange figure appeared. An old woman with eyes that glowed like fireflies. "Go to the river at dawn," the woman whispered. "There you will find what you seek." When Queen Zaria awoke, her heart pounded. Was this a sign? A divine message? She decided to follow the vision and go to the river at the break of the dawn. Dressed in a simple dress, she slipped out of the palace unnoticed. The early morning air was cool, and she walked towards the great Serrano River of Lirona. As she neared the river bank, everything around her seemed still. The wind stopped. The water was unnaturally calm, and the birds had fallen silent. Then she saw it, a small basket flowing gently down the river. Her heart leaped as she rushed to the water's edge, her feet sinking into the soft mud. With trembling hands, she pulled the basket ashore. Inside, wrapped in clothes as fine as silk, was a beautiful baby. The baby's skin was very smooth, her hair deep black with streaks of silver, and her eyes, her eyes were the colors of the deepest ocean, shining like the river itself. Tears streamed down Zaria's face as she carried the baby in her arms. "My child, my sweet child." But something about the moment felt strange. The river rippled violently for a brief second, and for just a moment, Zaria thought she had a distant voice, soft and melodious, like a song carried on the wind. She glanced around, but no one was there. Dismissing it as her imagination, she held the baby tightly and hurried back to the palace, unaware that she had just brought home a secret so great that it would soon change her world forever. News of the queen's miraculous child spread like wildfire. The people of Lirona rejoiced, believing the gods had finally answered their prayers. No one questioned where the baby had come from. After all, the queen's happiness was their happiness too. Even King Darion was overjoyed. He named the child Elira, meaning the one I longed for, and he declared a week-long celebration. Drums echoed throughout the kingdom. Dancers leaped with joy, and songs of praise filled the air. But not everyone celebrated. The palace healer, an old woman named Naya, observed the child with suspicion. Something about Elira unsettled her. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark, and she often hummed a tune whenever she was near water. She's not of this world, Naya muttered to herself. But she said nothing, fearing the queen would dismiss her words as jealousy. As years passed, Elira grew into a bright, curious, and enchanting child. Everyone in the palace adored her. But one thing puzzled Queen Zaria. Elira never cried. No matter the situation, she will never cry. Then there was also her strange obsession with water. She could sit by the palace fountain for hours, her fingers trailing through the water as if she's communicating with it. Whenever she stepped near a river or pond, the water seemed to dance and make some strange movements around her. Zaria ignored these signs, refusing to question the blessings she had longed for. On Elira's 6th birthday, the palace was filled with flowers, music, and joy. The entire kingdom celebrated. Yet, amidst the festivities, Naya, the palace healer, couldn't shake her unease. That evening, when the celebration ended, Naya gathered her courage and approached Queen Zaria in her chambers. "My queen, there is something you must hear." Zaria, still glowing from the day's event, looked at the old healer with curiosity. "What is it, Naya?" The healer hesitated before speaking. Elira. She's not like other children. There is a presence about her that feels unnatural. Have you never questioned her behavior? Zaria's smile faded. "What are you implying? Elira is my daughter. She's a gift from the gods. Why will I question that?" Naya lowered her voice. "She may be more than a gift, my queen. I have seen her by the fountain singing songs that no human could know. Her bond with water is unnatural. I fear she is not entirely human." Zaria's heart pounded. Angrily, she waved the old woman away. "Enough of this nonsense. Leave me at once." But as the healer left, her words lingered in Zaria's mind. Months passed, and the queen's doubts grew. She watched Elira closely, noticing more strange behaviors. The child's connection to water was on another level. One evening, as Queen Zaria stood by the river, lost in thought, a figure emerged from the water. It was a woman, tall, graceful, with hair as dark as the night and eyes as deep as the ocean. She wore a flowing gown that shined like fish scales. "Who are you?" Zaria demanded. The woman's voice was soft yet commanding. "I am Nerida, the guardian of the sea, and I have come for the child." Zaria's blood ran cold. "You cannot take her. Elira is my daughter." Nerida's gaze softened. "She may be yours in love, but in blood, she belongs to the water. You took her, but now the sea calls her home." Tears streamed down Queen Zaria's face as she clutched her chest. Please, is there no other way? There must be another way." Nerida hesitated. "If you love her, you must let her return. It is the only way to keep her safe." That night, under the full moon, Queen Zaria took Elira to the river. "Mama, why are we here?" the child asked, sensing her mother's sorrow. With a broken heart, Queen Zaria whispered, "Because, my love, it is time for you to go home." Elira smiled sadly. "I will always love you, Mama." With that, she stepped into the water, her legs transforming into a shining tail before disappearing beneath the surface. The river glowed, and then all was still. And so the queen's desperate choice has come full circle and given her a tale of love, sacrifice, an unbreakable bond between her and her child. Years had passed since Elira returned to the waters, and Queen Zaria had come to terms with her fate. Her love for the child she had raised never diminished, but the emptiness in her heart lingered, a wound that refused to heal. The people of Lirona whispered about how the queen often wandered to the river banks, speaking softly to the water as if conversing with a ghost. One night, during a rare lunar eclipse, Queen Zaria found herself standing by the Serrano River again. The moon cast its red glow over the water, and the sorrow that had consumed her for years weighed heavily upon her. She whispered a desperate prayer to the gods. "Have I not suffered enough? I loved that child with all my heart. I gave her back to where she belonged. Is there no mercy left for me? Am I destined to remain childless forever?" As if in response, the river began to stir. The still waters rippled and shimmered under the blood moon. Zaria was surprised as a figure emerged from the river. A tall, radiant woman. It was Nerida again, the guardian of the waters. "Queen Zaria," Nerida said, her voice carrying the weight of the ocean. "Your sorrow has not gone unnoticed. Your sacrifice for Elira was an act of love, and the gods have heard your cries." Zaria fell to her knees, trembling. "Please, Nerida, I have lost so much. I long for a child of my own, I beg you." Nerida stepped closer, her glowing form illuminating the night. "The river does not forget, Queen Zaria. Your love and pain have left their mark. Tonight, I grant you a gift. But remember, with great blessings come great responsibilities." Before Queen Zaria could respond, Nerida placed her palm on the queen's forehead. A surge of warmth flooded through Zaria's body, and a light enveloped her. When she opened her eyes, Nerida was gone, and the river had returned to its stillness. Queen Zaria returned to the palace that night, her heart heavy with unanswered questions. Months passed, and life at the palace resumed as usual. However, one morning, Queen Zaria began to feel strange. A wave of nausea swept over her, and her body felt unusually warm. She began vomiting, and she called for Naya, the palace healer, who examined her with careful hands. "My queen," Naya said, her voice filled with awe. "You are with a child." Zaria's heart soared. "Is it true? Are you certain?" "I have no doubt," Naya replied. "The gods have blessed you." News of the queen's pregnancy spread throughout Lerona village like wildfire. The people rejoiced, celebrating what they believed was a miracle from the heavens. For Queen Zaria, each passing day was filled with a mixture of joy and fear. Could this truly be true? Or was there something more to Nerida's mysterious warning? 9 months later, on a stormy night, the thunders roared across the skies and rain poured in torrents. Queen Zaria went into labor. The palace midwives rushed to assist her, and King Darion paced outside her chambers, his heart pounding with anticipation and worry. The labor was short but very painful. Just as the storm began to subside, a loud cry filled the room. A healthy baby boy, perfect in every way, was placed in Queen Zaria's arms. Tears streamed down her face as she looked at her child, a boy with smooth dark skin and a black hair. But then something extraordinary happened. As the baby opened his eyes, Zaria smiled. His irises were not brown nor black, but a luminous shade of blue, just like a lyra's. For a moment, it felt as though the room itself had paused, as if the universe had acknowledged the arrival of someone truly special. "His name will be Amite," Zaria declared, her voice steady. "He is my joy. He is my testimony. He has wiped away my tears." From the moment Amite was born, it was clear he was no ordinary child. As he grew, he displayed an uncanny connection to water. At his tender age, he could summon storms simply by standing near a pool or river. The palace fountain, once a simple adornment, now danced and sparkled whenever Amite passed by. The people of Lerona saw him as a divine gift, a child blessed by the gods. But Zaria knew the truth. Amite's gifts were tied to the waters, just like a lyra. As Amite grew, his powers became a source of wonder and strength for the village. He could summon rain during droughts, calm the seas during storm, and even heal the sick with water drawn from the Serrano River. Amite never forgot the stories his mother told him about Elira. Though he never met her, he felt her presence in his dreams. He often visited the river, where he felt closest to her, singing the same melodies she once sang. Queen Zaria, now older and wiser, watched her son with pride. The child she had longed for, the one she has sacrificed so much to protect, was not only her redemption, but also her greatest blessing. And so the story of Queen Zaria and her children became a tale of love, sacrifice, testimony, an unbreakable bond between mother and children. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. Thanks so much for always stopping by to watch my videos. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. It will encourage me to do more. And turn on your notification bell so that you'll be among the first to be notified each time I post new videos. See you in my next one. Bye.